Hey guys, in this lesson about English for daily stand-up meetings, I want to help you talk about status updates in projects for your next daily stand-up meeting. So the first expression I have for you is status update, because we have different verbs or different expressions or ways to use this. The first expression is to give a status update to someone or to provide a status update. So provide is a more formal way of saying to give. To request a status update from someone. Okay, this is the idea like to ask for a status update. To receive or get a status update from someone. And then to share a status update with someone. So there's two words that go together, status update. For example, maybe you will hear the question, are there updates on the status of the current project? For example, I would like to give a status update to the team regarding the development phase of the project. Can I request a status update on the testing progress from the QA team? Or I have received a status update from the project manager regarding the overall project status. The next expression I have for you is on track. On track. Track in itself is the part with the train. So if you have the large part of the train and the wheels, where the wheels have contact, this is the track. So this is the origin of the expression is the idea of like the way or the place you should go. For example, to be on track means to remain in the correct plan, to remain on schedule. To stay on track, this means to continue making progress towards a goal or objective. To get back on track. This means that you are behind, that you are late, and you are trying to make progress to go back to being on progress. An example question would be, are we on track to meet the project deadline? For example, we are on track to complete the coding phase on time and move on to the testing phase next week. To stay on track with the project schedule, we need to ensure that we complete the current task by the end of the day. We had a delay in the project due to a system outage, but we are confident that we can get back on track by increasing our efforts. The next expression I have for you is to be behind schedule. So the spelling of schedule is a little strange. Really, it's almost like schedule. Schedule, two syllables. Schedule. So you can say to fall behind. This means to be not progressing at the correct pace, correct rate. To be delayed. This is the same idea as to be late, or for example, to be running late. The idea that the project is not progressing as quickly as planned, or you're going to miss a deadline. And then finally, to be off track. This means that a project or task is not going to plan. There are significant obstacles that are causing delays or setbacks. With the example question of, are we behind schedule on any tasks or milestones? For example, I am afraid that we are falling behind on the requirements gathering phase of the project. We are experiencing some unexpected delays which cause the project to be delayed for a week. If we do not increase our efforts, we will be running late for the upcoming milestone. The next keyword or expression is challenge or challenges. Now, we have some different verbs that we use in expressions in daily stand-up with challenge. For example, to encounter a challenge. Now, to encounter is not exactly the same as to find. To find is when you are looking and searching and you find something. But to encounter is almost by accident. Right? To encounter a challenge is like, oh, wow, I found a challenge I didn't know I had, right? The next is to face a challenge. It means to confront or deal with a difficult situation. To meet a challenge, which means to take on, to address a difficult situation. And finally, to overcome a challenge. This means to successfully solve or work through an obstacle in order to get the goal, get the outcome. For example, what challenges have you encountered during the project, or have you encountered any challenges while working on the project? I encountered a challenge during the design phase of the project, but I was able to overcome it by consulting with my team. We are currently facing a challenge regarding the compatibility issue of the system with the new software, and we are discussing possible solutions. To overcome the challenge of the tight deadline, we need to prioritize the critical tasks and work efficiently. The next verb I have is to mitigate. To mitigate a challenge, mitigate an issue. This is really the idea to minimize a challenge, to reduce the limit or the impact of the problem, or to try to contain an issue, right? And you can also say to manage a challenge, but this is more maybe to take steps to control or handle a problem in a responsible way. For example, how do we plan to mitigate any challenges that may arise during the project? So again, this is very similar. How do we minimize any challenges? To mitigate the challenge of the hardware compatibility issue, we are planning to conduct a complete test before the deployment. We need to mitigate the challenge of the high workload by delegating tasks efficiently and utilizing automation tools. To mitigate the challenge of the unexpected change request, we need to communicate with the stakeholders and determine the impact and the feasibility of the change. The next keyword I have for you is resolved. So this comes from the verb to resolve, and it's the past tense of I resolve, I resolved. But it's a really important word with two expressions. The issue is resolved, or the issue is not resolved, or has not been resolved. And it's important to think about the pronunciation. So in the present tense, we say to resolve. Past is resolved. Resolved does not exist. Resolved. Have we resolved any issues that were previously reported? Have all the issues that were previously reported been addressed and resolved? Can you provide an update on the status of the issues that were reported earlier? Have they been resolved? Now, if you have this question, have any of the challenges been resolved? Okay, if we look at different possibilities, like a positive answer is yes, we have resolved the issue successfully and it is no longer a concern. Or negative would be not yet, but we're making progress and we are confident that the issue will be resolved soon. And then a more sort of mixed answer is a few of the challenges have been resolved, but there are still a few that we're working on. The next expression is next steps. For example, the next steps for the project, or to move on to the next steps. Or maybe, for example, our next steps include. So what are the next steps for the project? For example, the next steps for the project include the completion of the testing phase, followed by the deployment phase. To move on to the next steps, we need to ensure that all the acceptance criteria are met and the quality standards are maintained. Our next steps include the review of the user feedback and the implementation of the necessary changes. Okay guys, I hope you liked this video. Please take a second to click like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to help me grow on YouTube. My mission is to help people prepare for daily stand-up English. All your meetings, everything you need, the IT guys and IT people, everybody. If you have any questions, doubts, or comments, please let me know down below. And I will see you guys in the next video.